I knew this was going to happen. This is what happens when you get too old or you move out of Los Angeles. But I'm just bringing up a valid point. Okay, you got to keep in mind I'm not a fan of the police. I'm not a fan of the police at all. In fact, I think maybe twice in my life, once for a heart attack and once for when a female I thought she was being sexually assaulted. Have I ever even called the police? I've always handled things on my own, or they don't get handled at all. Even when I get done wrong. In fact, I was robbed recently, and someone said, "You didn't make a police report about that?" Like it almost scared me that I didn't because it was just kind of spooky. I didn't make a police report about all that stuff being stolen, but I just figured that's my loss. And I don't want to get caught up in the whole anti-Semitic thing, which is what? Well, if you say anything bad about Jewish people, you're anti-Semitic, right? Okay. So if you say anything that's not totally like enamored with the Floyd incident, then you're a racist. Okay, I'm the wrong guy to say that to. But I'm watching the media, and again, it's the media. I'm making critiques on the media. But it is definitely getting into people's minds. Okay, again, I'm going to bring it up a million times. LA 92. Okay, I want to see some statistics. Because one thing I'm pretty sure I had recognized, which brought tears to my eyes once, literally, is that overall in this country, overall, I'm saying in general, and I know I'm speaking as a white guy, but I have a black friend. My best friend is black, actually. I know. Crime has gone down, and police officer beatings and killings. I mean, the last time something like this happened was Ferguson. Now, that was 6 years ago. Now, this is still a problem, Don. Dude, that was every week in LA. That was every year, every month, every short period of time in this country, not long ago. And I know there's been stuff since Ferguson. But my point being is, I'm seeing people hold signs, defund the police department. Now, I don't know if that's just in Minnesota or what. The government should stop giving money to the police department. Fuck the police. Fuck the police. Hold on. I've been caught up in some situations. I was in a home invasion, and I'll tell you, I wasn't totally clean, if you want to put it that way. They weren't tripping on me. They were doing good policing. They were looking for real criminals. All right, and this happened right after the LA riots. They defanged the LAPD, which they should have done. They had it coming, and they still do, in my opinion. That was a demonic group of individuals. First of all, they have had some problems in Minneapolis. I didn't realize they've had 44 cases of men being rendered unconscious because of the policy. This is also something that happened in LA that shocked me. Is that you got to remember also is that not guilty thing. The jury found him not guilty, which was a stupid reason, like saying like he was resisting arrest. That's bullshit. You got to keep something in mind. The policy of these police departments trains these guys to do that shit. Like it's a weird like. Well, fuck him. Well, I know he's just doing his job and all that crap, but he's trained to do that. That's frightening. So you're going out. You're going after the sucker. Go after the big boy. That's what I'm saying. You never do that in life. You guys never go after the main enemy. So you want to go after the U.S. government. Whenever you say the government's doing this, the government's doing that. No. What government are you talking about? I'm talking about the secret society shit. I'm talking about what government do you think is really running the show? Okay, now with that cop, who do you think trained him to do that? They're trained to do that. And that came out in the Rodney King beating. It was a shocking moment that they barely mentioned, and the jury didn't use it as an excuse. That should have been the LAPD on trial. Why? They're taught to beat the living shit out of you until you comply and fall out and pass out. That's the policy. If you don't do it, you get written up or you get fired. Then don't do the job. Granted. But why aren't you going after the main dude? The main people who make those laws that the police are supposed to do that. We forget that. Because the media serves it both ways. Like, I'm not a fan of cops. I don't like cops. I'd rather disband cops. But I sure as fuck don't want militias out there. And what happened right after the LA riots? We had the North Hollywood bank robbery because they didn't have weapons. They took all their weapons away, which they should have. But by that point, they had good cops in there, new cops. And keep in mind, this cop is a young guy. He didn't have much experience at all. Now, and I'm not defending the guy. I'm saying, calm the fuck down and look at everything that they're saying. We have another incident. Overall, in the last 20 years, for everybody, this one goes way beyond just black guys or Latinos. Have you noticed a better connection or a more peaceable way of working with cops? I mean, even in LA, They are no longer engaging in high-speed pursuits if you didn't do something that violent. If you didn't do something that bad, they let you go. Now, it's funny, because up in Santa Cruz, they can show up to your house at any time they want and drug test you and check you out if you're on probation for anything, whenever they want. That never happened in L.A. I'm like, that's some Nazi Germany shit, which is ironic. It's in Santa Cruz. But overall, like, I have no problem with police up here, and I've never seen or met anyone of all races that really have big problems with the police, unless they're really criminals. Fuck the cops, dude. Well, yeah, that's because you stole that girl's wallet. You know what I mean? But you can walk around here dirty. You can walk, if you're behaving yourself, you're an asset to the police department. Because I'll be honest with you, if I catch you raping a girl, I don't give a fuck if I'm stoned. I'm gonna go tell the cops about it. You know, I'm not playing with that shit. There's no like, yo, dog, you ratted out your homie. Yeah, but you raped his wife. I mean, I'm going to the cops for that shit. But other shit, you want to fuck with me? Well, then you're making a mistake. I'm not going to call the police and say, he threw an egg in my house. But at the same time, like, cops do have, there is some purpose of cops that a lot of people can't handle and a lot of people can't do. Not everyone out there, especially in this area, the elderly people can handle the shit like some of us handle it, and some of us can't even handle it. We get our asses kicked. That's just the way it goes. But overall, fuck the cops, fuck all police departments because of this one incident. When I'm pretty sure I need someone to check this out for me. On a scale, and we're talking about when it was bad, because they keep revamping everything. I don't understand this whole millennial thing. Trump did the same thing. I mean, we're in a great depression, the worst in 100 years in 2008. Then we get out of it, and then Trump reclaims it before the election. This is terrible. We're living in a terrible country. We don't have any safety, and the economy is terrible. And I was like, the right wingers doing that bad money wise? I mean, I wish they told us that. I didn't know that. I feel bad. And now they're doing it again. It's some kind of reoccurring thing. But the police are improving. The police had definitely been improving. The police were not as bad as they were 10, 20 years ago. They were getting better, which showed effort. And then this motherfucking knucklehead does something, and you got to admit, cops are in that position that they're going to get caught up in some bullshit. You know what I mean? I mean, especially like in L.A., they caught them on the radio saying racist shit, and they found them not guilty. You know, you don't have an element like that in here. And, you know, you don't have 20 other specifically where racist comments are made. You don't have them burning crosses or getting caught at doing it in the police station. That was L.A. Here you have a case of excessive force used on a black man in an area that's probably predominantly black. Now, what am I saying? The rest of the country needs to chill out, because if you start defanging your police department, next thing you know, the mafia is going to come into town and the cops ain't going to be able to do shit about it because they're going to be scared because you protested the guy's death in Minneapolis. You got to understand this. All these white chick hippies running around going, fuck the police, defund the police. You are the last people that want that. Because you guys go run into the police when guys aren't even doing crimes, and now you want to get all down with that hippie shit. I'm just saying, take a look. I want to see what's really going on here. In prisons, for example, you got to start letting out a lot of black inmates that are in there on drugs. You got to let out everyone who is on drugs. They're legalizing marijuana in California. You got guys who are going to do life in prison for a marijuana charge 10 years ago. That's where you got to start looking. You know, and so you got to start fixing some of these other problems before you go and, oh, all cops in the country are like that. Like, this is definitely a case like that. I mean, oh, not all cops are bad. No, I'm saying this time cops had been improving. I have been involved in a few cases where it's home invasion, dude. I got guns stuck in my face. And where people don't want to call the cops. Why? Because people have got scandalous shit around here. This guy's got a warrant. This guy has drugs. They're cool now. Why? Because they'll work with you. They're finally working with the community in most of America. Now, Minneapolis, I'm not trying to diss it. I'm just saying, not really part of the grand world population mentality. All right, you got to accept that. L.A., New York, Chicago, Miami, areas of Dallas, Texas. Okay, that's real world. That's real world. I'm not saying that because this happens in Minneapolis, it's not serious. I'm saying is don't react to something that happens on the outskirts of town. That's how Trump got elected. Look at the whole scale of it. I want to see our cops overall. Have they changed their fucking attitudes? Ever since that camcorder came out, have they changed their fucking attitudes? Because here we have some kid cop did some fucking stupid, ignorant shit. And you guys now are getting upset. Where the fuck were you 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago? We had tanks called battering rams. They would run people's houses over. They would crush houses. Tanks would, like in Waco, Texas. Why? Because they thought you might sell crack. Well, we don't. Yeah, but why do you have bars on the window? Because we were living in a bad neighborhood. Nobody got compensated for that. You guys never said shit about that. I mean, what I'm saying is you're slaves to the media one way or the other. That's not taking away from Floyd's death whatsoever. Whatsoever. Because, like I said, I think things that would be more disturbing than that, you don't see happening. There is no camera there for it. So be very cautious when they use you like that. Like, look at us. We're showing you the injustices of the world to cover up the other bad ones. Like I said, it's like these people, if you're fucking 10 women and you're married, if you're cheating on your wife with 10 other women, and you find out that, you know what, your wife's about to find out that you are having pornos with 10 other girls that are 17, you know what you do? What? You get busted on purpose kissing the neighbor's wife. Because you know your wife won't leave you for that. She'll think, oh, that's all it was. My paranoia is for no reason. That's how they do you. That's how they do you. So as wicked as the Floyd thing was, you got to keep in mind that shit happens a lot. But also, I want you to look at the other side. Have they been as complained about? Have they been as bad? Because I know many brothers that have said, even Latinos, the cops are cool. In LA, they have a deal now. ICE fucked it up. They were having guys walk in the middle of these parks, shooting up and killing people in front of 100 witnesses at a quinceañera, sweet 16 party at a Latino gathering in the park because nobody would say shit, scared to death of the fucking LAPD. These guys wouldn't even care. They didn't care that there were witnesses. No one would say anything. One I forgot who it was. It wasn't the chief. Came out and said, it was so bad. He came out and said, "We promise you, we swear to you." And Spanish TV announced this. We won't fuck with you. We ain't gonna come to your house. We ain't gonna deport you. And they were citizens too. We're not gonna come and hassle you in your neighborhood. No one's gonna know who the fuck you are. But if you saw something, please come and tell us. If you saw something go down, we promise you on our lives. And they had like Latino leaders that people trusted come out and say that. Now that goes against the federal law. Said you don't turn them in. Fine. We have a problem here. We have crime in LA. And in 2 weeks, they arrested like fucking tons of people, and the crime rate went down. And in like 2 weeks, the crime rate went down 50%. They were busting everybody. They were busting all kinds of people, whites, blacks, Latinos, for fucking really wicked shit. Because no one would talk to the cops because they were scared of the cops. And the cops said, we'll make a deal with you. You go smoke your weed, but if you see something, tell us. We ain't going to worry about that shit. They do that even in Santa Cruz. The first thing they say to you when they pull you over is not license and registration. They say, we don't worry about the weed. They had so many lawsuits. They had so many lawsuits of people suing them because of the marijuana. That's why Santa Cruz was one of the first marijuana counties. That it was announced by the police department, quote unquote, marijuana is the least priority of any law you should enforce. And that should be the policy in every single state, because there's way too many laws, way too many chases, because it's failure to yield. I've never seen so many people failure to yield, which basically means what? It means whatever, you just want to pull the guy over. Well, we were right, he had a gun. He had a gun because he was scared the cops were chasing him. I know a lot of guys like that. It's a really weird thing. And I'm with them, and I see that cops hassle them all the time, and they're scared. They think that it's like you're targeting them for an assassination. And then they have a gun and they shoot a cop, and then you can go after them again. You guys got to back off these people, man. Everyone in the world's not a fucking criminal just because they did a crime. You got to pick and choose, and you know damn well you pick and choose no front license plate. Over the guy who is beating his wife or is doing check fraud. But just look on a scale. I'll bet you cops had been improving over this. So a lot of you out there, you don't know what's really going on. And if that's what's really going on, if there's been another increase, I know cops have always been this way. No, cops were improving. I'm saying, cops were improving. I'm not so sure that this is the case where you go, okay, that's it. We're going back to the 1990s, like we gave a fuck weeks ago. Most of you don't give a shit when you see fucking lights in your rearview mirror. To this day, I'm white. I get terrified. My car is gone and I'm going to jail. But you didn't do anything wrong. Like it matters. See, as long as you wonder, why do they run on high-speed pursuits? In LA, why is it LA? I guess it's a car city, they say. People run from the police. You don't seem to understand. Why the fuck do you think they're running from the police? If you don't know why they're running from the police, you haven't quite had an experience with the police yet. So you got to keep in mind who's telling you this. And I'm telling you what. Last time I cried because they gave me a warning ticket because I had illegal tint and my license or my registration was expired a few days. A fix-it ticket, and I cried. Because there's no such thing as that in LA. And you look at my record, I didn't become a better driver when I moved. I was pulled over for everything you could name in the book. I mean, I was given tickets for bullshit all the time. They would take my license in LA. I move up here. I think I got pulled over 5 times, and eventually the people who got my truck, it wasn't even anything to do with the police department. It was a fluke. It was an accident because I had to park my car overnight somewhere because I didn't want to drive drunk. And they towed it somewhere and I couldn't get it out. They would give me warnings. They knew who I was. If I didn't pay it, I got a fine or I got my license taken away, and then I might get in trouble. But you don't just bust people for no reason. And I'm not so sure you should be slaughtering every cop in the country when we've been doing a lot of reforms all these years because you want to jump on the bandwagon because you just got mature to the fact that cops are evil. Think about it. You're becoming the cop. The bad ones. Peace to the beast.